prisms are the most interesting kinds of, or they're most useful kinds of shapes that we'll look at for volume, okay? So prisms are 3D shapes. Don't finish the sentence. They're special 3D shapes. They're 3D shapes that have what we call, I'm going to introduce a word to you and then I'm just going to show it to you. Prisms are 3D shapes that have something very special. What we call identical cross sections. That's a long phrase and I'll show you what that looks like and you'll have a picture for it. They have identical cross sections when cut in a particular way. So here's this formal definition. It will be so much easier to show you. So here we go. Here's one I prepared earlier. Now let's do that. Okay, so you can see it now. Now I'm going to hold it up. Okay, here we go. In case this is a bit too small for you, okay, you can see it on the screen. This is a prism. Okay, now my blocks, I mean, you guys have used these before. My blocks are a bit, they're a bit chunky, okay, but you can see it's a prism because here are my colors, right? Each of these colors is what we call a cross section. It's called a cross section because you're cutting across the shape, okay? So for instance, here is one. Make sure I detach it properly. Here is one of my cross sections, right? One of my cross sections. And if I took off a few more of these, all of these are identical to one another, right? They're all this kind of shape. They're all triangular, right? They're all triangular. So this shape, I'd like you to draw a basic one in your book. You don't have to make it blocky like mine. I made mine blocky because I don't have a choice, okay? This thing looks kind of like this, right? The way I've given it to you. And as you can see, there's parts of this shape, edges that we can't see. So I'm going to draw them in dotted lines. Okay, so here's our shape, all right? Triangular cross sections, right? So therefore, because all of the cross sections are this same triangle, we call this particular shape a triangular prism, right? Prisms are named after their cross section. And that's what makes this particular one, because all of its cross sections are triangular, it's a triangular prism. Okay. Now, I want to draw your attention to this last little phrase here, which seems like, why is it even there? They have identical cross sections, we get it. When cut in a particular way, when you have a look at this shape, right? I've cut it along these lines, right? Yeah. And that's why you've got the different colors. But that's not the only way you can cut this shape, right? Yeah, you want to suggest something?
Down like those steps.
Yeah, I could cut across, like if we're imagining going up the steps, I can cut across the steps. Now here's what would happen if you did that. Okay, you're going to get this shape, okay? Might be a bit small for you. Let me put it over here. Can you see? Left is right. Okay, so as a big for you in case it's hard to see, I've cut it, right? I could cut it, I don't have to cut it, and cross into triangles. I've cut these into, what shapes have I got now?
Rectangle.
What are these? These are all rectangles, aren't they? Like here we go. This is a rectangle, well, this is a square,
yeah.
But this is a rectangle, it's a special kind of rectangle, okay? Now here's the clincher though, right? You can see, you don't have to see it up close really, to notice that, yeah, all the rectangles, they're all different, right? Like there's this guy, and it's completely different to this guy. And in fact, they're all different, right? So even though I could cut this shape into rectangles, it's not a rectangular prism because the cross section, if I want it to be identical, has to be a triangle. I've got to cut it along that way. Does that make sense? Okay. So there you go. There's our triangular prism, and it's a triangular prism because we can cut it any way along here, and we'll get the same triangle every time. Does that make sense?